watching Theme Park Worldwide, where we're still here at the Alton Towers Resort to talk all about Nemesis.
So signs have now appeared around the park saying the Phalanx are taking over and Nemesis is going to be closing on Sunday the 6th of November.
Oh, it is indeed. However, the park are kind of making it out like Nemesis is closing forever. And in fact, whilst we was out in Florida, we had so many messages.
Oh, we did. It was crazy.
Everybody thought, oh my God, Nemesis is closing. Sean, your favourite ride at Alton Towers is going. Well, don't worry, because it isn't closing forever. The ride is closing for a refurbishment. Obviously, all the signage and marketing that Alton Towers have done, in my opinion, isn't the best for this one.
No, it's not indeed.
I appreciate the fact they're telling people to come down and get on it and make the most of it. However, it's not closing forever, and they've confirmed in a press release shortly after the media took hold of it that it was going to be shutting forever. And yeah, the press release does confirm the ride will reopen in 2024.
Not forever.
Now, of course, Alton Towers last year submitted an application kind of for lawfulness to do work to the ride. Not a full planning application, but just what they needed to submit to show what they were going to do. And that does include replacing a large portion of the track, most of the supports, and also as well doing some other work and repairing the theming around the ride. So this is a massive overhaul of Nemesis. It really is going to be big, and of course here at Theme Park Worldwide we're going to cover it on the channel with regular updates.
We can't wait to follow it along.
Yeah, obviously I was 1 year old when Nemesis opened. I was born in '93. Obviously the ride was being constructed when I was born, but I don't remember it. Like, yeah, my first visit here I remember was like 1997. So for me it's going to be weird, and for Charlotte of course as well, and for all of us who weren't around in them days, just seeing that big site empty and Nemesis being rebuilt.
I'm really excited to see it.
Oh, so we're going to have a little look down there, have a look at some of the signage, get some footage of Nemesis, and just appreciate its beauty really. And along with that, as Charlotte mentioned at the start, the Phalanx are taking over.
Have indeed.
So could that mean a reference to Nemesis Sub-Terra? We'll talk about that later in the video as well. The iconic Nemesis archway with the sign just up there. Oh, I do love it. And walking down here with the music and seeing the signage off to the left. Be warned, this is the world's most intense ride experience. It might not be anymore. However, I would be sad if we saw the sign go, because this is all part of the Nemesis nostalgia, in my opinion. There's the monorail going over. It's iconic, like looking at that view and seeing the corkscrew just off to the right there as well. But let's take a closer look at these signs, shall we? They all say the same thing, but lots of these have appeared, and not just around Nemesis and Forbidden Valley. They're everywhere around the park. Like walking down Tower Street, on the way down to the Smiler. Yeah, this is the wording that they've gone for. So obviously you've got the Phalanx logo up there at the top. Really interesting how this has come back. Honestly, it's really getting me excited to think we could be seeing Sub-Terra reopening again. And then we go. Nemesis is closing by order of the Phalanx. Big reference to them with the date down there at the bottom. Of course, the last day of the season, the 6th of November 2022. And here comes the beast. Honestly, this ride still gives me shivers. Still gives me shivers, it really does. But yeah, so there we go, that's the signage. So they come in lots of different sizes and everything, but that's how the sign looks for this closure. There you go. But let's take a little stroll down under the beast just here, shall we? Go and talk a little bit about the work that's going to be taking place. I'm going to miss that sound here in Forbidden Valley next year. I really am, honestly. Just the sound of Nemesis roaring around the track. Oh, look at it go. Right, let's talk numbers then. So Nemesis has got a total of 117 support columns. So obviously these are the columns just here holding up the track, and 89 of them are going to be replaced. Now you might be thinking, what about the other ones? Well, in terms of how much track is going to be replaced, all of the station, the brake run, this section we can see here, all of the lift hill, right up until the top of the lift, that's all going to be staying, along with the station infrastructure, the supports for the station, so yeah, and all the brake run supports as well. So that's why only 89 supports are going to be replaced here on Nemesis. And yeah, like I say, in terms of the track, all these sections that we can see here will be completely replaced by B&M, the Swiss manufacturer that of course built the ride back in 1994. In terms of the trains, now these trains are original, they're from 1994. We know that these are coming towards the end of their life as well. The park haven't confirmed if the trains are going to be replaced. However, we can heavily expect the trains to be changed here on Nemesis. Now, a lot of people have been saying and talking about, oh, you know, could we see B&M's new trains with the vest restraints coming here to Nemesis? I really don't think we will do, for a couple of reasons that I'll talk about after Nemi's done a thing just here. That's one thing I've learned over the years, filming and living near Alton Towers, never talk over the beast.
Oh, no.
Just don't do it, just don't do it. Here she comes again. Oh, amazing. Now, one of the reasons why I don't think we'll see the new trains from B&M on here is because of what's just happened. These tunnels that you can see on the ride, the clearance of these is very tight, and we're not going to be seeing any changes made to the tunnels or the landscaping around the ride. Along with that, none of the trees are actually going to be removed, which is going to be crazy, really. This whole site now is full of trees. None of them are going to be removed during this work. They're all going to stay. So we're not going to come in, it's not going to look barren after all this work's done. So yeah, all the trees will remain. But yeah, the clearance on these tunnels isn't great. So it means that if they put the new trains on there, I don't think they would pass the clearance envelope. Possibly they could, but I don't think they would do. Look at the new trains with the vest. They are much bulkier, they are much wider than the current trains. The good thing is as well, we know that B&M still make this type of train as well, even though they are slightly updated. They're of this style without the vest restraints. They can be seen on Monster at Groenelunds. Oh. And also Osiris at Park Asterix. Them trains, which I'm quite pleased about with the vest.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, not a fan of the vest restraints.
No, I'm not a massive fan of them. I'd rather keep them as these.
Yeah, definitely. It's iconic as well. Something that I love on Monster at Groenelund, that's another B&M invert, is the fact underneath the seats they've got these little lights. So maybe we can see them added.
They look really cool at night.
But I suppose it costs a lot of money. It looked nice in the station and at Scarefest and Oktoberfest, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's the work that's going to be going on. I'm just going to talk now a little bit more about foundations, because actually, as much as the track is going to look exactly the same when it comes back, there's going to be a change made to this section over here. This is actually the most intense and forceful part of the ride. Most intense part of the Nemesis experience is coming round here into the downward helix, and of course over the years a lot of stress has been put on this track just here. That's the beauty of B&M though, and hence why I'm really excited about Chessington's project. B&M coasters last such a long time. There's no other manufacturer, in my opinion, that does the build quality like B&M. Honestly, their designs are fantastic. So yeah, what they're actually going to be doing here to this intense section of the ride, the downwards helix, is installing another footer and another support for the ride. So as you can see, it's already got a fair few all the way round. However, this section of track around here has seen some work done to it in the past, because of how intense and how much pressure there is. You've got to think, you've just gone down the drop, you're building up speed through the corkscrew, you're coming around here, it is so intense. It's the best part of the ride here in my opinion, especially because you feel like your feet are just going to bash against the rocks and to all the foliage around here. But yeah, you're going to come around here, there will be an additional footer and support. That's the only addition. There's been so many people saying, oh, you know, are we going to see inversions added or anything like that? Not at all. We're going to be seeing the same Nemesis experience, however, there will be one additional support. Look at that force. Oh, amazing. You think how forceful it is and the track barely moves. Oh, it impresses me so much. Oh, amazing, it really is. But there we go, that's the work that's going to be done. In terms of theming, we know that the theme isn't going to be changing. However, they're going to be updating the theming. All the station is all going to be getting repainted, lots of TLC. It's going to look really fresh. I'm kind of hoping we see things like the queue line repaired in the top. All this metal queue line's okay, because it fits with the rusty theme. Yeah, it would. And at the top, obviously you've got all the wooden fences. That's what needs to work up there in my opinion, at the top.
Yeah, 'cause it's going to get big queues.
It is. Should we go and take a ride? Yeah, why not? Let's go and make the most of it. Only a month left now. There's nothing like walking down this queue line, hearing the Nemesis theme and the roar of the track. That is something that is going to be changing, and that is the roar, because we know it's going to be sand-filled track. Now, of course, a lot of other B&M coasters have this now, and it will still make a noise, it will still have a roar. Not as loud as it does now, however, it's not going to be silent when it's going around the track, so don't worry about that. in terms of theming, I really hope you see these waterfalls at least repaired. They were running up until a couple of years ago, and the waterfalls have been completely turned off now. Obviously before that, there used to be blood red water, which used to be amazing. Due to environmental problems, they had to stop that. However, I believe that could be sorted out if they wanted to spend the money and make sure that, yeah, red dye doesn't go leaking into local rivers and that sort of thing, which I think is what happened with that one. Yeah, so hopefully, I mean, we'll see at least the waterfalls come back on, even the one just over here as well on the turn. It's off, you know, it's been off for a while. So yeah, hopefully we're going to see them back on. Things like repairing these fake sections of track just here. You know, general TLC, the monster itself did have some work done, and the track was replaced actually, it was repainted, sorry, only a few years ago. However, just to see some TLC done around the rest of it. And then you think about what the track colour is going to be like. Is it going to be exactly the same? Are they going to actually paint the rust back on there again, even though it's brand new track? So much to think about, so much going on with this project. If we just stop at the top just here, you can see some of the old bits of queue line just here as well. I'd like to see this tidied up. I mean, it'd be amazing if part of this opened again to get some more views of the coaster. However, even just tidying this up, clearing it out, because this looks really messy.
Yeah, it looks very untidy. It needs a good clean.
For a world-class coaster.
It needs a clean.
Yeah, 100%. And then yeah, something that I've not really spoken much about are the footers themselves. Now you've got to think this ride, a lot of pressure in lots of places, not just over on the downwards section, but also here as well. The downwards helix is very intense. However, this stall turn here, the loop, lots of the footers around the ride are going to be replaced as well and strengthened just to make sure they're going to last for a longer period of time. But there you go, that's what's happening. So yeah, Nemesis is closing temporarily for a refurbishment.
It's not going all together.
It's not. No, the world's most intense ride experience as it once was will live on for probably another 30 years. Nemesis will continue roaring around the track. Something we could see though is maybe an update to the logo. I mean, I don't know, I like nostalgia. You know what I'm like, viewers, I like the classic stuff like this. Just clean it up, but keep the nostalgia. I hope it doesn't lose too much of that, but we will see. Are we going to see some other new bits of theming added? We know they're not really going to replace these bits, but could they bring some new things in? It could be very interesting to see. Then of course the station itself, which I think if out of everything I could deal with the station having some bigger changes in here. I think it'd be quite nice to have it kind of feel like you're inside the monster itself, which would be cool. I imagine like a heartbeat sound effect playing in here, and like you're actually inside the monster itself. But here we go, we're going to take a ride on Nemesis, and we'll see you when we come off, and we're going to talk about Nemesis Sub-Terra and how that could relate to this project. Now, as I briefly mentioned earlier in the video, could the use of the word phalanx mean the return of Nemesis Sub-Terra? Now, this is an indoor attraction that actually opened 10 years ago here at Alton Towers, 2012 when we first stepped in here, and it's actually not been used as the attraction since 2015. So yeah, this attraction really didn't have much of a lifespan here at Alton Towers.
I feel like this needs to open in regards to like ride availability in this area when Nemesis is closed.
Yeah, capacity is needed.
Something down here.
100%. And yeah, the fact we've seen the whole phalanx thing on the posters does make me think that we're going to see a revival of this attraction. Along with that, some of the building looks like it's seen some TLC recently, and a bit of work has been done inside the lifts, because not long ago the elevators, or should I say the fake elevators inside, were actually open. They were doing some work in there. There's been a bit of activity. There was a lot of rumours and speculation that this was going to be the location of a new scare maze for this year, or maybe even the audio experience. But as we know from yesterday's Scarefest update, that's down at the games bunker next to the lake. So it means that what has been happening in here could be related to this opening again.
It's got to be, hasn't it?
I really hope so.
At least in some form.
And if you never did this attraction before, it's got 4 drop towers inside this main building here, and they're all facing each other in like a square, looking into the middle, and then you'd actually drop down. So you'd load on the upper level, and then you'd drop down underground where you'd see all the Nemesis eggs and the creature itself before being lifted back up and heading out of another set of elevators before then coming round through some theme structure into a strobe maze and out through the door just here. Now, of course, it was actually used for a scare attraction here as well, Project 42, where the scare maze was in there. However, the drop towers were still in place.
It was in place.
They were just covered up.
Let's hope something's going to be happening here.
I think it is.
It needs to be for capacity.
This has looked like an eyesore for quite some time now, so fingers crossed we're going to see this reopen. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't now, especially in some form. I'm not saying the drop tower is 100% going to come back, but I think they're going to definitely use this building for something next year to hype up the fact that Nemesis is going to be returning in 2024. Oh, well, there she goes, Nemesis here at Alton Towers. So much is going to be happening over the next 12 months, and of course we're going to be covering it here on the channel.
It's really exciting news to follow all along.
It really is, and all the way through, and to be honest, until the start of the 2024 season, this is going to be a very active construction site. And the good thing is, we may have moved house, but we're still very close to Alton Towers.
So we can still get the updates.
Very close. We're bringing you lots of updates here on the channel, and we cannot wait to share those. And of course, we spoke just about Nemesis Sub-Terra. Fingers crossed, I think it's needed now.
I'd like to hope so. We need the capacity.
100%. But yeah, lots going on, and that's just with this project. I just want to say once again, though, I am really grateful of Alton Towers for doing the work to Nemesis.
Thank you.
This is an iconic ride, it really is.
Indeed.
Alton Towers know that, it's clear that Merlin know that too, and yeah, they're spending the money on this ride. They could have just brought it to the end of its life, like Corkscrew, and then removed it from the park. They knew that Nemesis has to stay here.
Exactly.
Even though on the signage, it doesn't make that clear. But 2024, Nemesis will be back here at Alton Towers, and of course, you've got until the 6th of November to ride it this year. And stay tuned to our channel for all of the latest updates. We'll be covering the track coming down, the new track going up. Whatever happens, we're going to be here on a regular basis. Along with that, we're going to be covering the dual refurbishment that's ongoing. That's nearly a month in now.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, no changes out the front yet. However, I'm sure a lot's happening on the inside.
Exactly.
And along with that as well, Project Horizon that's just starting up now. Potentially Secret Weapon 9, this new indoor attraction set to be built at the back of the World of David Walliams on Coaster Corner. So that's exciting
Following
too.
that very closely.
Honestly, there's so much going on. A great time to be a fan of Alton Towers, and a great time to be a theme park enthusiast with projects at Thorpe Park, Chessington World of Adventures, Alton Towers, Drayton Manor. There's stuff going on everywhere at the moment in the UK, and we can't wait to follow along here on the channel. That leaves us with one more final thing to say. Get out there and keep on riding. See you all in the next video.